think about the relationships in your life, friendships, romantic relationship or relationships, your connection with your acquaintances. This is going to be our topic today. This is going to be a general reading for all of us. But if you'd like a more specific and personal analysis of one relationship in particular in your life, feel free to visit my website and book the relationship reading, which is designed specifically for this purpose, to analyze an ongoing relationship and see where it's coming from, where it's going, what potentialities are present, and all of that. So, in our reading today, we are going to first and foremost ask the cards, the word cards, which aspect of relationships we should be focusing on today. And so we pick one. This is going to be a Hungarian word, which I'm going to translate to you in a bit. And then we're going to pull a tarot card. And we're using the Mystic Mondays Tarot for today's reading. I'm just saying because a lot of people often in the comment section, they ask which deck I'm using. All right, this is an interesting one. It's Becsapash. I'm going to give you a couple seconds to try and guess what it means. Becsapash. Becsapash. If you want, you can make a comment now. And you'll find out in a minute what it means, really. But take a guess. What does it sound like? Becsapash. Well, now let me reveal what it means. It means deception. So I think this is a juicy topic. Deception in love is an evergreen, classic topic that everybody loves to talk about, and we all want to try and avoid it as much as possible. We don't want to be deceived, but it happens. It's just part of the general behavior in dating and courtship, to various degrees, of course. There's very benevolent and non-harmful versions of deception, which are actually adaptive, and then there are some deceptive behaviors which are manipulative and antisocial and toxic. Okay, so what is the message that we are receiving on this topic right now? What do we need to talk about? Three of Cups. Okay. Well, the first thought that kind of stormed my mind is the idea of a triangle. Triangulation is the term used in psychotherapy and couples therapy and in family therapy as well, when there's this kind of unhealthy, toxic situation that involves three or even more people, but generally three, wherein the dynamic between the participants is heavily controlled by one abusive player, quote unquote. And so the flow of communication is not democratic. It's not straightforward as it would be in a dyad, but it's complicated and it's enmeshed and it's manipulative. So all kinds of dynamics can be associated with the triangular structure. One thing that comes to my mind is this Karpman triangle of drama, which is a model to depict or to display the dynamic that occurs in toxic situations or dramatic situations where there's a victim, there's an abuser, and there's a rescuer. And so this is an almost archetypal structure or system that we all respond to very sensitively. And in love situations, this can be one of the drives or one of the underlying infrastructure to the development of romantic feelings. One person is victimized by an abuser, and then the rescuer appears, the white knight on the white horse, and thus this romance blossoms between the victim and the rescuer. The real deceptive factor that I can identify here, apart from the very obvious undertones of cheating, which come from the triangular formation, and we're also having cups here, so that connects with the emotional realm. So another thing that comes through is how these two roles, the abuser and the rescuer, can be conflated. And oftentimes the victim role becomes enmeshed with that structure as well. So it's all just one person being the abuser, the rescuer, and the victim. And it's all very confusing when that happens in an abusive relationship. So back to the sort of the original meaning of the Three of Cups, this shows a type of open relationship, which I'm not talking about ethical, non-monogamous relationships, but the types of setups and situations where intimacy or deeper levels of intimacy are not accessible because of this very openness. So think about it this way. When you're in a public place, let's say an airport, it is for sure a type of shelter from the elements and from the coldness of the weather or the sunshine, or it helps you protect yourself and all the infrastructure in there from rain, snow, whatever. But it does not allow you to access those higher levels of intimacy and comfort and warmth in a psychological sense that you'd be able to access in your own home, or even in a cozy little cafe or bookshop or whatever. So it's these different types of spaces that could be equated with emotional availability as well. So in the Three of Cups, there is a connection, a type of connection, but it's too general, too loose, too impersonal to be able to provide these deeper layers of authenticity and intimacy. So the deception is coming from this, the conflation of all these different roles, the involvement of multiple factors, the overcomplication, the exceeding of the dyadic structure, which we would traditionally think of as the default position for love relationships. Now, of course, in the 21st century, we know that that's not the only way to go, but we could use this as a sort of a rudimentary model of understanding and intimacy. It's not about the numbers. Okay, so what else is coming through? Let's see. So there's this feeling of being too many people involved in the relationship. And this could be romantic involvement, so we can talk about cheating, or it could be some kind of psychic influence. So, the classic situation of the mother-in-law meddling, or an ex who is still kind of haunting the relationship in some way, shape, or form. So there's that. Now, what is there for us to do with this information? Yes, deception exists in romantic relationships. Yes, it does take the form of this feeling of overcrowdedness. What do we do? Oh, that's interesting. And that's the Six of Cups. Okay. So one way to go about it is, instead of reacting in a constricting manner, trying to limit or restrict or reduce the mobility or the degrees of freedom in the relationship, the idea is to allow even more space and to create even more room. So the Six of Cups, interestingly, the structure is that there are two cups in the middle, so intimacy is restored, and the four cups are surrounding this central structure. So the idea is that in intimate relationships, when there's this over-dependence on one another, codependence, one could even say, without the externalization or the channeling of energies, emotional energies, to the outward direction, there could be this sort of distorted and suffocating atmosphere between two people. So the solution is not to limit each other and to try and self-regulate via regulating the other person. The solution is not shrinking the relationship, but opening it up even more. So another idea that comes to my mind is that you cannot perfectly defend yourself or protect yourself from deception, but you can make sure that you are contributing by bringing your best version of yourself to the situation, by not in turn becoming controlling or jealous or abusive yourself, which to some degree we all can display abusive behaviors, and it's very easy to veer into that category when you're triggered, for example. So giving it more space, giving it more of an opportunity to show itself. Who is this person? What is this relationship? What is the underlying structure that I should be seeing and observing? You can find out only if you give more emotional freedom to allow it to unfold the way it does. So the main message here is deception can only be felt and understood when there's enough space for you to experience it. If you try to circumvent it, if you try to prevent it from manifesting by way of constricting the situation and over-regulating it, then you're not really doing yourself any favors. So the best way to go is to have an unassuming attitude, to be cautiously naive in the sense that you can expect good things from your relationships while simultaneously being turned on and vigilant. And just by allowing this space for the manifestation of different processes, you're making it possible for new information to emerge. You're not suffocating it. You're not suppressing it. You're allowing it to be what it is. And you're allowing yourself to be who you are at the same time. So the best antidote to deception is not to try and prevent it, but to observe it, to give it space. So I hope that you enjoy this reading. Thanks for watching. Again, if you'd like me to analyze a personal relationship of yours in a tarot reading, then please visit my website and book the relationship reading with me. Thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye.